Wow, again, great Kaboom news are coming from Russia. This time, Salovat city, Bashkortostan, which is roughly 1,400 kilometers away from Ukrainian border. This is the Gazprom Neftekhim facility, basically a huge Russian oil refinery, which is in the top 10 of the biggest refineries in Russia. It was capable to process 10 million tons per year of this very precious liquid for Russians. And as usual, the most sensitive part was hit, the column of AVT4, that's basically refinery itself. It will be really hard to restore it, and what is interesting that this facility was hit for the first time since the beginning of the war. And that's the satellite image of this refinery. This one caught fire. You may see meshes or maybe nets. Those are the anti-drone measures, which doesn't help. Yeah, since it's the most sensitive part of this entire refinery, it was secured. Yeah, secured. It seems like Ukrainian drones, after all, could breach this security measure. I think I forgot to mention it, but a couple of days ago, Ukraine struck one more refinery in Samara. Yes, again, because it's kind of the huge refinery. Ukraine hit it already several of the times, and here we go with a satellite image showing, again, a sensitive part of refinery being on fire. And judging on what is happening with those Russian refineries before, I guess it was definitely agreement between Ukraine, Russia and United States of not to hit Russian refineries, for example, and Russia hesitated to hit Ukrainian railway infrastructure, but Russia now cuts Ukrainian logistics and Ukraine cuts Russian refineries. And yeah, sometimes logistics as well. And since Donald Trump became the president of the United States of America, the intensity of the strikes continued to grow. Speaking about this region of Bashkortostan, which is really far away again from Ukraine, the last Saturday Ukraine hit two more of the refineries, Bashneft Nova Oil and Bashneft UNPZ. So today it's not a separate case or something, but Ukraine is focused to target Russian facilities in the central part of Russia, and Ukrainian drones managed to get that far. Yeah, for now it's not the Flamingo missile, but Flamingos will be launched very soon. Yeah, this article is written in Ukrainian, but I may translate it for you. So the company Firepoint, which is producing those missiles, promised to extend and expand the production to 50 units per month. And for the next year, they plan to expand the production even more. Well, so far we saw this missile in operation just a couple of the times, and both of the times it was not really precise. There was one case with debris which were found not far away from Mariupol airport, plus one of the missiles hit the FSB checkpoint in Artemivsk, not far away from Crimea, but another one that was launched into the particular destination missed it. So yeah, this company has lots of the things to polish, to develop. We'll see how it goes, because they produce those missiles. It is understandable. They stockpile those somewhere and soon they will be launched. Alright, more about drones. We have this debris of the Russian drone Gerbera. Even the number is visible on the tail. Well, it was found in Latvia. Just like that on a beach, probably it overflown Poland and landed into the Baltic Sea, and later on, here you go, the part of the drone. It's made out of this foam plastic, which was capable even to carry the engine. Yeah, it's a very simple drone in production, and the price of it is maximum $10,000. By the way, we have some of the good news from Belarus. It seems like Russia after all started the withdrawal of the forces. For now, not really actively, but the forces are coming out. Actually, it's great, it's the sign of the de-escalation, and maybe China pressed Russia a little because they're interested for the border between Poland and Belarus to open, because it's the way for the Chinese goods to reach Europe. But Russia is building some new military bases. For example, this one they found in Bryansk region, and this base is especially made for drone operations, to launch the drones towards Ukraine, and not only. Yeah, I wonder why they build it so close to Ukraine. I mean, it's roughly 40 kilometers, not more. Ukraine even might reach it with HIMARS, but I see that they put some sort of the cannoneers to defend parking spots. Okay, maybe the facility will be mostly located underground. Yeah, actually it's 33 kilometers away from Ukrainian border, so absolutely it's the primary target for Ukrainian even HIMARS systems. Yeah, I think that Russia has low chances to finish this construction. Alright, some interesting news I guess from Reuters. European Union floats plan to use frozen Russian assets for Ukraine loan, bypassing Hungary's veto. Well, now I understand why Dmitry Medvedev was so much worrying about the Russian frozen assets in Europe. He even said that Russia will fight for those. those? Well, I have huge doubts about it. What European Union officials want is to create a separate fund for compensations for Ukraine, and they want to take money really from those frozen assets. So could it be a real prompt deal from the European Union finally? Well, maybe, but they still have to bypass Hungary's veto, and Hungary will block it by any sort of the means. Orban is just a Russian puppet. Well, yesterday Zelensky said that Ukraine needs roughly $120 billion to survive the next year. That's quite a lot, and so in this context, confiscating some of the Russian actives in Europe sounds not that crazy idea, because first of all, Europe needs to support Ukraine. Without it, Putin may expand the war even further, with many more forces. Also, European Union plans to phase out Russian LNG more quickly after Trump push. Well, I think it's not just about Trump, but realization that Russia escalates the war, launching drones and starting some of the military provocations at the border, so it's the main factor, I guess, and not the Donald Trump. Europe wakes up little by little, understanding the real threat, which is coming from Russia. Oh, Gerasimov, his contract with the Russian army was extended for 5 more years. It seems like Putin really admires this guy. Yeah, Gerasimov made so many mistakes, but after all, he's very loyal to Putin, and that's why Putin keeps him at his position. A general commander of the Russian army, that's why I think the tactics of Russia will not change. They'll continue to use their mid-wave attacks on the front lines. Alright, Putin today organized a meeting with some of the ministers and other Russian officials, and I want you to check out his mimics. Then he says about 700,000 Russian forces deployed in Ukraine. Yeah, guys, you may not know Russian, but mimics will show you everything. So here he says about 700,000 Russian troops. He is happy. He's joyful. You see his bright eyes. And then he says like that, I sent my own people to die in Ukraine. 700,000 soldiers deployed. As we know, total losses for Russia for 3.5 years of this war is roughly 1 million. And there will be more because war continues. And you see how he is really satisfied that he is in this game. Everyone wants from Putin something. Donald Trump calls him to Alaska. Xi Jinping calls him for parades and celebrations. Putin likes and admires the situation. That's why the war in Ukraine will continue. And by the way, Donald Trump had some of the statements relative to the war in Ukraine. He says that he is not interested in ceasefire any longer. He wants to force allies to drop the oil prices, and that is how push Russia, but it will not work like that. It could work before in 80s, in 70s, but now not any longer. It's the different world already where United States of America, especially under the current White House administration, is unable to act promptly on many of the players globally. We might see it from Trump's ultimatums towards India, China. No, it doesn't work. Trump actually lost the tariff war with China, and India has its own policy. Yeah, I'm against that policy because I'm pro-Ukrainian, but mainly India doesn't care what Trump says. They continue to purchase Russian oil. That's it. Let's listen to what else Donald Trump said today.
The U.S. has done 7 of them. The one that I thought would be easiest would be because of my relationship with President Putin, but he's let me down. He's really let me down. It was going to be Russia and Ukraine.
So again, he's like this broken record saying the same stuff again and again. 7 wars have been finished by him. By the way, I'm gonna play one more video soon, and we're gonna laugh with you of how he named Azerbaijan and Armenia. Well, here, once again, he admits that Putin let him down. Despite Putin's visit to Alaska, nothing is working out with Putin, but Trump again and again refuses to put extra sanctions on Russia. Nor he is interested in supporting Ukraine with direct military help. Luckily, our European partners are working together with the UK. They're purchasing some of the American equipment and deliver everything of that to Ukraine, but it is much less compared to what it was before Donald Trump. So Putin lets him down constantly, but Donny continued to suck Putin's carrot. And let's listen to this Azerbaijan-Armenia case.
And the fact that that one's not settled. To think that we settled Azerbaijan and Albania, as an example. It was going on for years. It was never going to be settled.
Look at Starmer's face, like, Azerbaijan, Albania? Oh my god, this is hilarious. God save the most competent president of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Albanians, you should be grateful. Say thank you for Donald Trump to finish the war in your country against Azerbaijan. Guys, it is just an incompetent idiot, and it's very bad that he's the president of the United States at this very, very hard time for democracy around the world. Yeah guys, sorry that I continue to tell about Donald Trump in my videos, but after all, he's a president of the United States of America, and this country is decisive for international security. And here's, for example, his speech relative to the drones which were spotted in Poland not long time ago.
If you listen to some people, the ones like in Poland were shot down and they fell into Polish territory, but they shouldn't have been that close anyway. They were drones. And
do you think it was a mistake? The Polish prime minister said it was not a mistake, that they were intentionally into Polish.
Well, I'm surprised even the Fox News host said about that it's not probably a mistake, because Donny called it a mistake initially, but later on Polish foreign minister and prime minister dismissed that statement, saying it's not the mistake, it's the intentional attack of Russia on Poland.
Territory. I can't comment on whether it was a mistake or not.
And now he cannot comment. So before he stated that it was a mistake, and now, no.
They shouldn't have been there, let's face it.
They shouldn't have been there. That's what? Yes, everyone understands. I would say more. Even Putin understands that those drones should not have been flown to the Polish airspace, but he sent those, and he will send more, believe me.
But supposedly they were disabled.
Yeah.
They disabled.
Disabled? Well, 4 out of 20, I would say, yeah, mostly disabled.
Drones today, that's the great attack on a drone is disabling it, and they fall.
The great attack on a drone is disabling it? What?
All over the place. So let's hope it was that. I mean, I'd like to think the better, but I'm very disappointed in that. I thought that would be the easiest of all of them to get done, and it turns out to be the most difficult.
Like, what is he even saying here? It is not the response, it's not the answer on the question. I told that the reaction of NATO was weak, but the weakest possible reaction is coming from the United States president. Alright, it seems like the Russian propaganda uncovered the position of the headquarters of the Russian Rubicon drone unit. Rubicon is the most capable Russian army group if we speak about the drone usage. In Ukraine we have multiple small capable groups, but in Russia it's the main one, Rubicon. They're very outstanding, I would say, and they use up-to-date technologies. So Solovyov, the Russian propagandist, went to the park Patriot, yeah, it's the name, and there he took the interview. This was geolocated and confirmed that definitely the main headquarters of Rubicon is in this park. Well, I think that after their position was exposed, they're gonna change the location. Rubicon is now being deployed to Kupiansk direction, so Ukraine sent their third assault, and to Russians, yeah, Rubicon, it's gonna be a very tough fight in Kupiansk. It's already out there, we'll see, but the frontline updates I'm gonna record in my next video, which I'm gonna upload in a few hours. And here I want to thank my Patreon supporters and also members of the channel. Guys, thank you so much for keeping me motivated to film videos on this channel. It is only possible with your support. And my friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.